All right, guys, welcome to part 3 of I bought a 97 Lincoln Town Car with a bad motor. What was I thinking? And folks, before we jump into this video marks the 700th upload on this channel. And we're only about 300 subscribers away from 15,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for supporting this channel, for giving thumbs up, for subscribing, and being a part of this community. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, let's get into this old Lincoln. So the first two videos, we tried to diagnose what was actually going on with the 4.6 liter 2 valve in this 97 Lincoln Town Car. We started off by trying to do some premature diagnostics by checking plug-ins, by checking injectors, by checking and changing the spark plugs. Spark plugs we found were getting wet on the driver's side, and they were actually firing and staying pretty clean on the passenger side. So that led us to believe that we had a problem in here on the driver's side bank of cylinders, and we could actually hear what we thought was the timing chain kind of rattling around inside the engine. In the second video, we actually got the valve covers off, determined the timing chain was off on the driver's side bank due to potentially a faulty or a cracked tensioner on the timing chain. So we got the cover off, we got everything all timed back up, and we did a leak down test to find that cylinder number 6 leaks down at about 20% capacity, meaning likely bent valves. I did not bother checking the rest of them, only because I knew we had a problem. Why? Well, because the rocker arm fell out on cylinder number 6, which means the valve is all the way down or down far enough that when the cam is turned and timed properly, this just kind of flops all over the place and actually popped out of place. So tonight, we're going to tear the head off, which means we're going to take the upper and lower intake off, as well as the alternator, and then we can get at those bolts and start tearing things apart. So let's get at it. So we're at the point now where all we've got left to do is take out the 10 or so bolts left in the intake, and we can lift that out and start making our attack on the driver's side head. So let's go ahead and get this off. So now that we've got the intake off, I noticed that on the inside of the intake there is some liquid in there, and I think it's oil. And if we look at the bottom side here, we do see some oil around there and maybe around there. So I'm guessing by the looks of the rust on these bolts, this probably isn't a new intake either. So when the engine was rebuilt, I think they unknowingly just put back this intake thinking it was going to last forever. And guess what, folks? If you know Panther platforms, they don't. And the biggest reason why I know that they don't is that symbol right there. Those of you who know it, know it. So if we're on a budget or we're not, chances are that intake is not going back on this motor. Let's tackle that head. I can hear the leaking of fluids. As this head comes loose. I think those bolts, they're all loose. They're gonna have to come out with the head because that brake booster's right in the way for that back one. So, let's see if we can just lift her off. There's nothing holding onto it in the back. I think it's stuck on a dowel. Come on. Right. The exhaust. Yeah, the manifold's still kind of attached there. Just a little bit. Well, my soul. Would you look at the size of those things? Well, we got 7 of them out. Or what was there? 9, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the one we can't get out because of the brake booster. And I don't think I'm going to be able to haul that whole catalytic converter up here because of 2 reasons. Well, first, I think there's room, but I think it's still plugged in. I really do. I really do. I really do. Oh, see that? That slid down. Can we slid up? There's the O2. Well, that ain't an excuse no more. Can we get you to slide up-ish? Maybe. Let's get that thing out of there. Maybe while we can. 10. Okay, so we got that. You're catching up on the bell housing right there, aren't you? So, does that mean that if we just kind of shuffle you back a little bit and then wiggle you a little bit more, curse, where's my flashlight? What's holding us up? Okay, you're hitting up against the steering right there, and you're hitting up against that tab on the bell housing. Can we swing you that way without hurting ourselves? I'm gonna swing you that way, and my back is screaming. Yep. Ouch. Fingers. Now what? O2 sensor. Still. I thought we dealt with you with that. I can. All right, let me get the camera. I'll show you what we're up against here. So there's the O2 sensor, and there's like this little tab on the bell housing that the O2 sensor keeps getting caught on. I don't know if I got enough room to get in there and take the O2 sensor out of the cat. Over here, when I twist the head counterclockwise, no, clockwise, I can get past this, but I can't twist it enough to get past that block because then the catalytic converter hits up against the frame. I'm gonna take 5 and get a drink and come back to this once I catch my breath. So let's regroup. Oh, we're so close. Whew! I think we got her, folks. Hoo-wee. Hoo-wee, baby. Probably should have thought that one through a little better. All right, so we've got the head off. We're gonna take a look at that in a minute, but let's take a look here at the cylinders. Now we knew that we had some marking on this one here. If we kind of go in right there, you'll see there's some Scars there. This was the one that we were really concerned about, cylinder number 6, and it's got some big chunks out of it, and there's actually like glitter. We got some glitter in there. Not quite sure what that's from yet. We go down here to number 7. Number 7 looks good, got some glitter in there, not sure again where that's coming from. And then number 8 actually has some marks on it down here in the bottom. And as we come over here, the way I've got this laid out is cylinder number 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if we come down to number 5, the valves look like they are sitting in there nice and even, no worries, nothing. We come over here to number 6, and there you have it, the intake valve wide open. Exhaust is pretty good. We come over here to number 7. Again, intake is good, exhaust looks like it's good, but we come over to number 8, and the exhaust is the one that's actually bent. It's kind of lifted up there. I don't know yet if this head is going to be salvageable. We're going to have to flip it over and pop the valves out just to make sure that the valve stems, or whatever you call them, the guides inside, aren't all bent up and cracked. I mean, this is aluminum. It doesn't take much to damage it. In fact, if you look right there, we've got some chipping there. But, you know, I think everything's fixable, but we'll have to get those valves apart before we can actually tell for sure. And yes, I brought this up through with the front cast still on it. That's pretty amazing. So all we've done with this particular video is proven what we found out on the last video, and that we had bent valves. We now know exactly which ones were bent. And I'm pretty much inclined to junk this engine. I will tear the head apart at some point. I may record it, I may not. Okay, so we've got our homemade valve extraction tool here. That when we got our exhaust and our intake valves out on these 2 cylinders, everything else looks like it's good, no issues. But as you can tell, there's our exhaust and our intake valve, and they're almost touching each other. They're so bent. So what did I do? I decided to go to Rock Auto and pick up a couple of valves. They're only about $7 or $8 a piece. And then I proceeded to order a timing chain kit. So it's going to give me new sprockets, chains, tensioners, and guides. The reason why I went that route was because I don't think the last guy did it. This car's got a lot of miles on it. I don't want to be doing this job again. So what I've done is I've ordered that. I went to Rock Auto again, just very, very cheap, 139 bucks for everything. Hopefully it'll get me a few kilometers down the road without having to do this all over. Safe practice. Once everything's all said and done and that stuff actually shows up here, we'll probably be into it for about 280 bucks Canadian on top of the 500 we spent on the car. You know, I think we're still doing good on this 97 town car, so we'll see. But we got to get this car out of my shop at work because it's tying up a bay here, and you know, we're actually doing business over here as well. So tire changeover season is coming up very, very quickly here in Canada. People switch their all-season tires for winter tires. That usually happens about mid-October into November. So we've got about a month to get this project out of the way. Guys, if you haven't done so already, I would consider hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a thumbs up. We're trying to grow the channel, and when you guys give the thumbs up and hit that subscribe, it tells YouTube that I'm doing a pretty good job and that you guys are getting entertained, and maybe they'll help push it out like that first video we did on this car, which is currently at almost 18,000 views. Thank you again for helping push this car and push this channel to succeed. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rear view mirror. I love you guys. God bless. We'll see you again in the next video.